What they should do is bring back a different version of Hank Pym and the Wasp. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't want to do Patrick Wilson.
You know what I'm talking about. Patrick Wilson, hey, you don't fold the towels right. And the Wasp, no!
Yeah.
Well, what were we talking about?
Welcome to the Underhold. We kind of went off on our other intro, so we just want to let you know this is a discussion and a review. It's going to start out with a discussion, and we'll get on with the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the Conjuring. It's about the Farmiga-verse, so as long as we're talking about Farmiga-verse movies, you're in the right spot.
Okay, so you'll see another intro real quick. We're going to get right into it. The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Which is probably the same thing Harvey Weinstein was saying in court.
This is a bit of a courtroom drama.
Well, it is. That's what I was surprised about. You know, the Conjuring-verse, to be able to continue to make these movies, they had to prove that their movies are real.
Yeah, because essentially with part 1, when they make it, they're like, well, this is a true story. Anybody can make a movie on a true story. Isn't that how it went? Yeah.
Sort of like that. What it is back in the day, this cat, Frank Lutz and their family, the Amityville horror dudes, they sold their story to this writer, but he's the guy who actually wrote the Amityville horror novel, or the one that shit's all based on, right? That guy owns the rights to the Lutz's stories and anything else that comes out of that.
Okay.
When the Conjuring movie came out, the end of the first one sets up straight. We're going to Amityville next. Because they did that, he was like, oh, you connected those stories. I own the rights. You cannot make a part 2 of The Conjuring. Because you include that, you're adding to the stuff I own the intellectual property to.
Okay.
And so they were like, well, it's based off a true story. And the guy's like, no, it's not. It's a fucking hoax. I wrote the book. I know it's a hoax.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, those guys are charlatans. Everything's fucking fake, you know.
So is the Warrens who sued or that guy?
That guy.
Okay,
he's like,
so
it's my property.
So the Warrens never said everything was fake. Okay, I thought maybe that was...
The Warrens were like, it's real. And the guy's like, no.
Okay.
He's all... And so they were like... So Warner Brothers had to prove in court that ghosts are real so that they could continue to make the Conjuring franchises because the guy was saying, no, I own the stories. And they're like, well, they're not stories. It's true life. Ghosts aren't real. Oh, yes, they are.
Okay.
Prove it in court. So... What they were able to do, because they didn't prove it in court, you can't prove it in court, it's real. They just settlement. That's how shit works out. They had already finished the fucking movie, and they didn't expect a sudden lawsuit to hold up the release of Conjuring 2, so they ended up paying the guy off. But and you can find us all
so
on...
So the Warrens didn't give permission?
They weren't involved. I mean, they're just in real life. Okay. They went and they did speeches and shit, and they went and did investigation over Amityville, and it's in their own memoirs, but... Their connection to Amityville is all through the Lutz family, and the Lutz family story that includes the Warrens' involvement is all already owned. So, like, even though it's their experience, and they can talk about their experience all they want, they can't talk about the Amityville horror haunting at all, because that's not their story. They don't have any experience with the first... And, in fact, their feedback research was like, yeah, I don't feel nothing here. This is all bullshit. You know, like, so they didn't even think it was real. What are you going to do? And I think in the movies, they were like, oh, I could feel the evil in the house of Amityville. But in reality, it was like nothing. Okay. So
I wasn't clear on that. I know you mentioned that before.
Yeah, so they had to. It was Warner Brothers had to prove ghosts were real for them to continue to make the franchise, which is one of the most hilarious lawsuits of all time. Make sure you're following us on our Instagrams, or trying to slide into those DMs. I'm not wearing no shoes for nothing on this video. So yeah, we got the Conjuring 3 pops up with them in the middle of one of their classic stories, or their exorcism of somebody in this one.
We have a ton of cases, so this is one of them. Yeah.
And in this case, they're like, oh, okay, we're going to help a boy that's possessed. As they're helping this boy who's possessed, the demon jumps from him into the body of a teenager, or young adult. I'm not sure what the dude's normal age is.
Pretty good actor.
Who eventually goes on to commit murder in this house.
Yeah.
So the whole spookiness of The Conjuring 3 is, oh, this dude kills his landlord. That's what happens. One guy kills his landlord. That's it.
What could possibly be the motive?
Yeah. He was letting him live there rent-free. But that seems fishy, too.
Oh, were they Were they roommates? Or no, what did they call gay people in the past all the time?
Roommates.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think it was quite gay. So the dude's living there with his fiance, quote, quote.
Yeah.
Because they're running a dog kennel. All right, and that was the big thing. And so the dude kills him. Or kills the landlord. Says, the devil made me do it.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
In come the Warrens. The Warrens are like, he's possessed by a devil. Right? The story made the papers back in the day because their lawyer straight up said, hey, not guilty by reason of demonic possession.
Yeah, Warrens, OG clout chasers.
OG clout chasers. Yeah, if they would have had Instagram back then, oh my God, there would have been so many more hauntings. I guarantee it. But anyhow, so the Warrens come in. There's it looks like there's a witch. A witch is possessed or is cursed the family. Why? No reason. She just needs to kill people. Oh, it turns out she's the daughter of some other guy that they all know.
I know the reason.
So
Marvel movies.
Was that why she's?
Because you have to have.
We got a lot of witches.
The bad guy has to be the good guy, but like more powerful. So you have Vera Farmiga, and more power versus more powerful Vera Farmiga.
That's true. You got kind of. Got precognition. Other one's got witch powers.
Yes. And
that's the movie. So it's
Iron Man. What's the other Iron Man? What was the bad guy?
Ironmonger.
Ironmonger. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the movie. Is in. I don't know. Here's my overall assessment. I had a fun time watching it, but at the same time, when it was over, I was like, that was bad. But I didn't hate watching.
The first 10 minutes, I was like laughing. It was bad intro.
Oh yeah, it was.
Like there's this kid twisting around being possessed that was just fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's a little bit computer animated and over the top, to where it's not really scary.
But then it turns into Law and Order.
Yeah, it's all courtroom after that.
Yeah.
It's like, is he going to be innocent or guilty? Yeah. We don't know.
But then you do get like kind of an adventurousness thing with Patrick Wilson. You know, the Warrens.
Yeah. And if you didn't think these cats were complete con artists, they give it away in the movie as a line. Like, because his lawyer for the guy who kills the landlord, he's like, no, I'm not going to put the devil on trial. I'm not going to say that my client got possessed by demons. I'm not a fucking idiot. And she's like, well, why don't you come over to our house for lunch and we'll introduce you to Annabelle.
Oh, yeah, and then you see him and he's like, they're slightly shaking.
Next scene, she's like, the devil did it. Yeah. Right? So she must have seen Annabelle, but in this conjuring-verse, Annabelle's possessed by this horrific demon.
Yeah.
So to just like, let's just show her the demon for shits and giggles. Right? I mean, that's where I'm like, okay, guys.
Let's scar this person for life.
Annabelle's got like 5 movies or something, 6 movies. I don't even know how many movies at this point this fucking dumb doll has.
And you know what? We have a video of Annabelle 3.
That's one of our first videos here on the Underhole.
Yeah. Nobody's watched views, but don't even watch the video. Look at the thumbnail Robert made. Yeah. It's fucking awesome.
And better than the entire Annabelle verse.
Yes.
Features the characters that may have been thought about being the next characters of. Never coming out.
That's totally just something like, let's just throw a bunch of monsters on the wall like spaghetti and see what catches.
Like, it legit looks like they just went down to the spirit store. They went to the adult section, went, what's the newest scary costume? That one. Like, they went on chillertv.com and just stole half of their designs.
Now, the witch and that possession demon, what was even the name of it? That was one thing that got me, is I couldn't remember what it was called. And, like, when you look at The Exorcist, it was Pazuzu, right?
Yeah, so in Exorcist, you got Pazuzu. In the conjuring-verse, so far, you have Valak and...
You have a nun.
Because that's the nun.
Oh, okay.
And then, I can't remember, Matilda? I don't remember what the fuck it...
I put like an old Matilda book there.
Yeah, just like the little girl. The Danny DeVito one. But it's like Matthias or Matthias.
Oh,
it's kind of weird, whatever Matthias, the fucking Annabelle demon one's name is. But now we got a new one. And the witch is using this demon to do her bidding, and the demon doesn't like it, clearly. But that's the name of the game when you're forcing demons into your service.
It just becomes like a Nancy Drew mystery almost, or a Hardy Boys adventure, Scooby Do. It really comes across
almost like Scooby Dooey.
Yeah,
because when they do find the witch, because spoiler alert, it's just the daughter of the guy they go talk to get the information.
Yeah.
Which that felt too fucking convenient. And just like, oh, by the way, it's my daughter. You could tell me that 9 months ago, or whatever, when I was here earlier. I was just the dad still. I didn't get that. So, like, this should have been just a strange witch unconnected to the storyline, because it's not real. They never had no witch. This fucking, the old-ass Warrens never fought nobody and no...
You can tell that it's, this whole thing comes out of them riding the satanic panic wave.
Yeah.
Of, like, late 70s, early 80s.
Oh,
just
for real.
Like, oh, if we can get in front of a courtroom and get more press, oh, this is going to be...
These two sat in a room just writing this fucking fantasy, just drinking tea and fucking listening to Jerry Falwell. Like, it is ridiculously religious in places. Saccharine, almost to the point of, like, the lovey-doveyness between the Warrens. Because I think that's kind of funny in a way, is that we have this horror movie franchise, and it's the most... in America, it's our most marriage-celebrating franchise we have.
And that's actually, like, one of the better parts of it.
It's the only good part of the movie, is the charisma between Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. I don't think the actual Warrens loved each other as much as these two appear to love each other on film.
Do you like the fact that they had to explain how Patrick Wilson is not super fit now?
Yeah, he's like, I had a heart attack in part 2. So now I'm fucking gross in part 3. And you're like,
which when you're like, that was probably a couple of too many Coney Island hot dogs in real life, you know?
I know. They're like, we need you to be fat for Watchmen part 5. You know, you're gonna play Night Owl in the future.
So part of the reason I have this thing, if you can read it, I don't know, it says Farmiga-verse, is
it's making me think my ears are glowing.
Wilson and Vera Farmiga are absolutely awesome in this. They work really well together. I don't care if they're the Warrens or not. I bet you they're pretty good together if they were putting anything.
Yeah,
I almost feel like they should just stop doing these Warren movies, or take the Warren movies out of The Conjuring, essentially, and just, they'll do movies together and people will like to see that dynamic.
Yeah. It's like, you don't got the America's sweetheart, like America's favorite buddy, Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan charisma going on here.
It's not necessarily, like, it doesn't have to be a romantic...
But it's like that old Bogart Bacall, or some other fucking guy. Always one of those old dudes. Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy. That's what I'm talking about. So it's like, not necessarily super romantic. Doesn't always have to be. But the charisma these two have off each other, that's the funnest part to watch. Yeah. It's like, fuck these Conjuring movies. I mean, they could play Scrabble, I'd watch it.
Marvel should just, or Disney should just straight up be like, okay, we're going to have some Star Wars characters that are these two actors, or some Marvel characters, you know, they work.
Yeah. Like, what they should do is bring back a different version of Hank Pym and the Wasp. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to do Patrick Wilson. You know what I'm talking about. Patrick Wilson, hey, don't fold the towels right. And the Wasp, no! So, and I'd be like, man, they really make domestic abuse feel so refreshing and interesting to watch on screen because of the charisma. No. I don't want to quite see him as Mr. Fantastic and Miss Invisible or whatever.
Oh, that would be awesome, except for they aged out of it. But
yeah, I mean, Patrick Wilson might, but like, Invisible Woman's supposed to be super hot, right? Who's even the hottest blonde? Kate Upton, Miss Invisible.
Yeah. Although Vera Farmiga, specifically for being Miss Warren, I think that plays into something very interesting in and of itself, of like a lot of people who fancy themselves as psychics and things like that. I think they very much can latch onto how she looks and is doing that character.
Yeah.
Of like, that's me on the screen. You know?
Yeah, she looks like rural Connecticut medium.
Yeah.
Instead of Long Island.
So I think that by itself does work on its own level for somebody who's not me. Like, I don't care about that, but I do feel like with some people that probably resonates very well for.
They're fun to watch. The movie is not good at all, but the two leads are fun to watch and together, and the whole time you just want to stay together and be married.
Yeah.
And they are. And you're like, and that's a weird thing. Like,
every scary moment is not scary.
It's deflated. Like, there's no real sense of tension. I mean, what's the witch? The witch is not after them. So they make it very clear in the story. They're like, yeah, which one's the dude? So you guys are fine. So there's no peril. And that's a letdown. And when you're dealing with supernatural movies of this, where the supernatural element is like really supposed to be terrifying, it should have a lot bigger agenda than just like killing some rural or having some nobody hick kill himself. There was no reason for this. It's inconsequential. In fact, his arrest didn't even trip up anyone else's lives. Like, it didn't seem like his girlfriend was affected by it. Because she doesn't have to pay rent still. We know that. She's still off the choke for the rent. And the little boy, oh God. I'm not sure what the little boy's actor is, but he's this generation's little scream queen. So
yeah, you said what else was he
was
in?
He's a little boy in Color Out of Space and
okay, Color Out of Space. I really like that.
Fucking Haunted House on the Hill. Whatever that the Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix season 1. I never watched season 2. And it's just like American Horror Story to me. I don't need to see the same characters playing different parts in a similar story. I don't care anymore. So, but yeah, he's gonna do at least 2 more of these bad horror movies where he's the little possessed kid, the killer kid. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But okay. I'm fucking positive we're gonna see him, and then he's just gonna be gone because he's gonna age out. So whoever producers that's assaulting him right now he'll be aged out of it. So,
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll have a career after that, like
Corey Feldman,
Chloe Murray Wentz from
Chloe
Hit Girl,
Blowy Wentz. I know. I just want to make a list of joke versions of her name so that from the future we'll be like.
Well, it's not even like
Clorox, Glory, Borax, Mints.
That's the thing about me never remembering her name is it's not something like the guy from Doctor Strange. How you can come up with Benedict Cumberbatch like jokes.
Yeah. With
her, it's just like this fog.
Yeah, it's like I've legit.
Chloe Mori Wentz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chloe Morning Wentz.
Mori Wentz.
But
it doesn't have that thing where you can automatically come up with a weird other word for it.
Yeah, that's probably why she doesn't work as much as she could. People see her face and like, hire that one. Like, which girl? Like, Hit Girl. Not to go back into that.
She's not quite in Queen's Gambit?
Not quite.
No.
Because that girl, she'd make a great X-Men. All right, well, that's our little.
That's been about it.
Shitty Conjuring.
It looks kind of like a movie.
Yeah, I'm going C- on that one. So if you looked up number wise, I'm going 2 out of 4, low 2. So this is a C-. Barely. The only thing that doesn't make it a D for me is just the leads. Yeah. Other than that, the story's garbage. Every supporting character's garbage. They do adequate acting jobs in the movie. Nobody really knocks it out of the park.
They don't look like they're phoning it in.
The core Conjuring group. So you got like Farmiga, Patrick Wilson. I don't know who the guy who plays the priest, the older priest that they have on their team, and their young cameraman who in this movie has like no lines, but he's been in all 3 films. So there's like, why even they're like, you want to come in and do the movie? We'll give you a paycheck. What do I do? Nothing. You'll be in here for 1 day. And I think he actually has a line that goes, they seen a totem like this somewhere else. I think that's his only line.
You probably have to count because I think it's like after 9 words there's a SAG thing.
Yeah. They're like, he's not getting insurance.
But I'm 1 out of 4, but actually probably the same because I have about the same things there. You're not getting
I get 5 only because I get F in there. I get FD. I do letters because math is hard. And you know what else is hard? Letting spoilers ruin your life.